Starboard's Jeff Smith just wrapped up his presentation. He announced ideas that included News Corp, Fortrea, GoDaddy, which has been a position of theirs for some time, and he joins me here now, as you have every year, which I always appreciate, for some time. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start off with News Corp. The news seemed to be out a little bit that you guys were taking a look at that and establishing a position there. Why?
Yeah, look, David, it's a great business. It's a great asset. It's just too cheap. So we took a position, and the company is made up of a number of assets, which I think a lot of people know. Most notably is Dow Jones, which includes the Wall Street Journal and some other things. But they also own a real estate business. They own an interest in REA, which is publicly traded in Australia, and they own a 61% ownership stake in REA. That was an amazing investment for them. So it was about 20 years ago, Lachlan actually saved REA. He invested about $10 million at the time for 40-something% of REA. It's grown to 60%. Today, that investment alone is worth $8 billion. And it trades. So it trades in Australia.
It's worth. It's not a question here.
It's worth $8 billion. The rest of News Corp, then, given the $12 billion enterprise value, is only worth $4 billion. And the truth is, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
So how do you unlock that value if you're News Corp? It's not as though this is a surprise to them as well. They can do math.
Well, yeah, I think they can. They know it. We've spoken to them. So the rest of News Corp, again, $4 billion, that's only 4 times EBITDA.
Right. Which is far less than, for example, what the New York Times trades at or any of the other public comps that you want to look at in terms of the news business.
Right. New York Times trades at 15 times. Right. So they can do math. So the question is, what do you do about it, and why do you do it, and when do you do it, and how do you do it? Our belief is that they're going to want to do it, that they're going to want to separate the digital real estate assets to be able to highlight this beautiful business for what it's worth. They can't be happy that their business, their crown jewel of a business, is trading at 4 times EBITDA when they look at their peer, their competitor that they've competed with forever, where their metrics are better than the New York Times on a lot of different fronts. And the New York Times trades at 15 times and traded 4 times.
Right. They have a higher EBITDA margin, I think, than the New York Times does.
Higher EBITDA margin, more digital subscribers, better. A lot of metrics.
They also have Move. We're taking a look now at the screen here. Move.com as well, right? Which they own. I think it's 80%. They own it with CoStar. There had been an attempt to potentially sell that some time back. Would that be included in a divestiture, so to speak, of the real estate assets, or a separation?
Well, it depends. So Move is Realtor.com, so a lot of the viewers might know that brand, and it's a great business also. It's also non-core to the media business, and Move can be sold, or it might be combined with REA in a spin-out to make it a tax-free spin-off. So there's a lot of different choices. I think often people are saying, well, okay, but to your point, why haven't they done it? I believe they just haven't done it because they were a little insecure about leaving the rest of News Corp standalone for a long period of time. Being in this industry, that being in the media industry for a while was something that people were worried about, especially in print.
It's challenging. It still is challenging. Even with the move to digital, successfully executed to a certain extent by the Wall Street Journal, for example, it's still challenging.
Sure.
A lot of worries.
Without a doubt. But they've come out of the most challenging time from their standpoint. So I would say 10 years ago, it might have been something they didn't want to do. They wanted to leave REA in with the conglomerate to help bolster the remaining business. I would say 5 years ago, they didn't need it as much. But we had a lot of things that happened over the last 5 years, which might have stalled their progress in making this separation. Now, there's not as much of an issue. There's plenty of cash flow. There's plenty of scale in the remaining business. And the real estate business is non-core. And frankly, I think Lachlan's done an amazing job at being able to create that value, and it should be identified. It should be separated. For their shareholders, for their stakeholders, this is their duty. They own. It's true. They own 40% of the B shares.
They own 40% of the vote, which is basically negative control. It may not be complete control, but you're not going to be able to replace the board here, Jeff.
Well, you never know, but
really,
you never know. I'm not saying
what exactly is it you do as a strategy to get those votes. Then come on.
Well, if you're advocating for something that everybody wants, then that's more than 40%. That being said, I don't think you need to do that.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to do that. I mean, what we're asking for is good for their business. It's good for their family. It's good for the shareholders. It's good for their employees. Their employees have stock and stock options. It's not good for everybody to have an undervalued stock. And this digital real estate isn't really core to what they do. It's not their crown jewel. It's not their baby. It is something they rescued. It's an amazing investment. If they separate it, you're taking a business that's going to then be highlighted. The remaining News Corp business can't trade it 4 times.
Right.
Can't.
Well, you mentioned you've spoken to them. So what was their response, to the extent you can share it, when you actually shared your belief about what a separation would do?
Well, it's similar to what we just talked about. I mean, they know the math. I mean, this isn't novel. We're not the first ones to bring this up. They also would recognize that, as I mentioned, that some time ago, it may not have been the right time because the remaining business wouldn't have been strong enough.
But you seem to indicate that perhaps that time has passed, and now there is a recognition on the part of management, who I have not spoken with, that they might be able to execute something along these lines. Or is that your hope, or is that your expectation?
It's probably somewhere in between. So I don't know that they're going to do anything. We're going to continue to have those conversations. But I believe they should. And I believe they understand, or should understand, that they have a duty not only to the B holders, of which they have 40%, they have a duty to the A holders, they have a duty to their employees. And this isn't overly hard to do. Versus, it's not great governance to have dual class. There have been votes to declassify.
Yep.
It's something to consider as well. But there's easier paths to create a lot of value.
A year ago, of course, they were talking about trying to put News Corp together with Fox. I would assume that's something you don't necessarily think would be positive for shareholders.
We don't think that that's a good idea.
You don't?
We don't.
Do you have any expectation they may try to entertain that again?
I don't know. We haven't had that conversation.